Before we start, this Five Nights at Freddy's 2 video I made was for a very huge FNaF collaboration video, 10 Years at Freddy's, the complete retrospective, which was a huge collaboration to be a part of. After you watch this video, please watch the original FNaF collab video. I mean, it's under 5 hours long, which is pretty long. I mean, you don't have to watch the whole video in one sitting. Just take a break, watch it another day, and then watch the rest of it. Without further ado, this is the Five Nights at Freddy's 2 Retrospective. Five Nights at Freddy's 2, the second installment in the FNaF series, was released to the reception by most as being basically FNaF 1 again, but with 10 times more crap to worry about, which doesn't sound good on paper, but come on, this is Five Nights at Freddy's we're talking about here. Honestly, going back to those days reminds me that this was the real FNaF hype train. When the first teaser came out, people were hyped. And then we got more teasers and more teasers and even more teasers, which even led to the birth of brightness and contrast image tradition. Then a few weeks later, the trailer was released. People loved it and got scared of it. Not because of the jump scares alone, no. It's not so simple anymore, but rather it was because there would be no doors. Oh, and I forgot to mention that in FNaF 2 teaser, it said that the game was slated for a 2015 release. Well, the game came out on November 11th, 2014, a little over half a month before 2014 would end. Yeah, Scott wasn't very good at release dates. Classic Scott. Okay. The game starts with a cutscene. It looks like the player sees the FNaF 1 location from Freddy's perspective. What the player sees from their point of view is the dining area. And the game plays a very creepy and unsettling noise, all things considered. One could even say almost too unsettling. The player can move their mouse to the left and right sides of the screen. To the left we see FNaF 1 Chica, and to the right we see FNaF 1 Bonnie. At the end of the cutscene, we get this. And then immediately sends you to the main menu. The game doesn't have just one cutscene. Every time you complete a night, you get the same cutscene, but something very spooky will happen, which I will explain later. Upon starting a new game, it will show a newspaper article about the new pizzeria that wants to hire a security guard. And of course, the player will have that role. The game starts and you are in a security office. The security office has a large, dark entrance in front of the player, with vents on both left and right walls. But then we got a phone call. None that other, Phone Guy.
Hello?
Also, just letting you know, this game is a prequel. Yeah. Well, I mean, how would Phone Guy be alive in the first place then, huh? He tells you everything you need to know, this and that, blah blah blah. I'm not gonna tell you everything what Phone Guy says, because this will take forever. I forgot to mention that this game has 11 animatronics. Like, you know, like in the first game, this game had like, I don't know, 4 animatronics plus 1 secret character. So it wasn't that big of a deal if you're good at this game, but this game has a lot of animatronics. We have Toy Freddy, Toy Bonnie, Toy Chica, Mangle, Balloon Boy, the Puppet, Wither Freddy, Wither Bonnie, Wither Chica, Wither Foxy, and Golden Freddy. So, your main goal is to check the camera so that the animatronics can get you and survive until 6 AM. But there's more. First, you have a Freddy mask so you can put it on anytime the animatronics are close to you. Sounds simple, right? No. There is a music box on the price counter that slowly winds down over time. You must frequently open the camera's Find Cam 11 and rewind the music box. But if it fully unwinds, well, you're dead. Okay, so here's the plan. I'm going to explain every single mechanic on every single character they have. Toy Freddy will show up in the dark entrance in front of us, and he will get closer and closer until he's right in front of you. Once he's in front of you, put on the mask as quickly as you can to make him go away. Toy Bonnie will show up in the right vent, and if you see him, put him on the mask until he's finished with his long animation. Toy Chica will show up in the left vent, and if you see her, put on the mask and she will not do the long animation, she will just straight up leave. If you hear a radio frequency sound, that's Mangle. You can hear it from the cameras in the dark hallway, but don't worry, Mangle won't kill you from the dark hallway. But if you hear it from the right side of the vent, put on the mask and you have to wait for Mangle to leave. How do you know Mangle will leave? Well, if you don't hear any radio frequency sound, Mangle just left. But if Mangle comes into your office, it will be on the ceiling and randomly killing you if you go into cams again.
Was that the bite of 87?
Puppet, well, I already explained it to you. God fuck. Wither Bonnie and Wither Chica will be also going to the vent. Bonnie on the left, Chica on the right, just like in Five Nights 1. If one of them shows up into your office, put on your mask as quickly as you can. They will kill you if you put on a mask too slowly, and they will kill you if you don't put on the mask at all. Golden Freddy's in the game too, in a withered state, of course. If you see him in the office, don't look at him too much, just put on your mask as quickly as possible to make him go away. Very easy. Wither Foxy, however, has a different mechanic. The Freddy mask trick thing will not work on him. Therefore, you have a flashlight. Limited flashlight, of course. Foxy doesn't like being flashed. If you see him in a dark hallway, just flash at him until he's gone. Sounds easy enough, but wait. There is one animatronic that will ruin your day. Balloon Boy. The most annoying little shit ever. Do you want to know what he does? Well, I'm gonna tell you anyway. Balloon Boy will start laughing every time he gets closer. If you see him in the left vent, put on the mask and wait him to go away. But if you don't, he will stand in the office and take your sweet, succulent AA batteries. To explain it easier, he'll disable your flashlight so that you can't use it so that Foxy can kill you. There's no way to get rid of that Balloon Boy. It's game over. And also, Wither Freddy works the same as Toy Freddy. He gets closer to you and then you have to put on the mask quickly as you can to make him go away. And also, one last thing. There's actually some few secret characters in the game too. That is Shadow Freddy and Shadow Bonnie that has a weird ass name. I don't know how do you say that? Huh? There's also another character called JJ, but it's just basically Balloon Boy and have different color changes. And there's also an endoskeleton, but more in line with an older endo design, comparatively speaking. Well, that's all the gameplay mechanics for the most part. Let's move on and talk about the 8-bit Atari-styled death minigames. The death minigames are fundamentally designed to be random, in rare events that could happen when the player is killed by any of the animatronics. And this is where the lore kicks in, and the lore is trying to convey quite disturbing imagery in all honesty and retrospect. It has 4 minigames called Save Them, Give Gifts, Give Life, Take Care to the Children, and Foxy Go Go Go. All of them gives us answers as to what is really going on, and I think this was a genius move by Scott to convey these events in a 8-bit style, and rightfully so, since it has been now become a staple point of the series, as every FNaF game going forward has this one form and another, even going as far as to appear in the intro segment for the movie of all things. It doesn't answer all of the questions in a complete direct sense though, instead it helps to give character and build the very world where these haunted animatronics are forced to reside in, and how it all came to this to begin with. Questions like, why are the kids missing? Why there's a purple man standing in the corner for some reason? I mean, no reason at all. So okay, let's start with the first minigame. The minigame takes place at the 1987 Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, the game's main setting, where another killing incident took place before the events of the second game. You control as Freddy with WASD controls. While you're walking around, letters can be heard out at regular intervals, spelling out That's very spooky in my opinion. Ugh. And you move around and explore until you see the puppet. The game wants you to follow the puppet until you see the purple man, right after which the main game ends. Give Gifts, Give Life is where you play as the puppet, where you see 4 dead children, and you walk up to them and give them gifts. Once you give all of the gifts, you give them life, which means you give the children the suits to inhabit. While you're giving them the suits, you start to slow down and start to hearing letters, spelling something. Weird. After that, you get jump scared by one and only ominously treated character at the time, Golden Freddy. Take care to the children is, of course, you taking care of the children. You play as Freddy, and your main goal is giving the cupcakes to the children. If you don't, they will start to cry and get angrier. But wait, there's a child outside. Then a car shows up, driving, and then we see Purple Man coming out of the car. And the child starts crying and crying and crying until it got murdered. The Purple Man escapes, and we're being greeted by a jump scare. This child will definitely, for sure, totally not going to be relevant going forward, right? Right? Foxy Go 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 is where you play as Foxy, and the minigame wants you to run on the right side and surprise the kids. Very simple. Once you do it a few times, you see a strange purple looking guy, standing in the corner smiling. That's a totally normal thing, right? You may think so, until you actually go to meet the kids one final time, only to find nothing but the horrid corpses lying in the room. They're dead. And we've been greeted with another jump scare. In the terms of build-up at atmosphere and the mysterious aspect of, I think it's a really effective addition to this game from a horror point of view. Upon completing Night 5, you'll be awarded with your hard-earned paycheck of $100 with 50 cents for your night shift. Yes, it's less money than the first game. After that, the game unlocks an extra difficult Night 6, just like the first one have. And if you beat Night 6, it will unlock a custom night, with 10 animatronics. I've heard that it's quite difficult. I mean, ask that guy right there. Little fat okay, yeah, let's just leave him alone. I needed some more information about Five Nights at Freddy's 2 other than its mechanics or its gameplay in the final version, so I decided to talk about some of the unused content in Five Nights at Freddy's 2. There are also 3 unused sprites of the characters. We got a close-up similar to a frame from the puppet jump scare. The next is a full body render complete of the puppet with strings attached, and the file name is Puppet in Office. Could that be that the puppet was supposed to show up in the office or something? The final sprite is very known, and I think I have seen it before. This Toy Chica image was supposed to be when you put the Freddy mask on, and she will appear at you. Just like what Toy Bonnie does in the final game, you know, with the long animation thing. Lastly, the game was supposed to have a toxic meter. The toxic meter was supposed to be a way to avoid the player keeping the Freddy mask on for too long, but it was scrapped for a good reason, I guess. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is a game that people loved and hate. They loved it because of how different it was before, and also that one character in the game that people won't shut up about. People don't like it because it's too stressful and unfair, and the gameplay loop is just, checking cam 11 all the time. Not a lot of, camera flipping. The game is not bad, it's just the flaws in this game are not very easy to ignore. My thoughts on the game are the same as what other people think, the flaws and everything. But the game is very memorable, and that's the truth about it. The character designs are good, the ambiance is good, the minigames are good, and some of the mechanics are good. It's just a gameplay loop that kinda makes things fall apart for me at least, all things considered. And that was Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Wow, that ending was a bit anticlimactic. God, what was I thinking with this ending? Fuck. I could have edited better. I had so much time. What was I doing? God. Oh, you still here? You want me to say something? Watch the original video, or I will Ignite Bunny punch you.